What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's going to be a little bit different kind of a video. We're actually kind of getting Junkyard dibs on a wreck Z from a fellow friend of mine that just got it back from insurance and pretty much is letting me get free game on it. So he's trying to get it taken to the scrapyard ASAP so he can get it out of his garage. I think between today and tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, we're going to have a heyday on this thing and kind of just dig into it. So, and here's the Z that we are going to be removing stuff from today. It was hit over in the driver A-pillar, or at least he hit a semi to dodge kind of being ran over, and pretty much this side took the brunt of the damage. Whole frame rail, as you can see here, is twisted out at least probably 8 inches out of whack and continually. Snapped the AC compressor bracket straight off the engine and had to be jaws to life out of the car. Pretty serious wreck. Being a 92, it's got the velour interior, which just so happens to be about the same as my Slicktop, so hopefully we can be able to save a couple panels for it here, because we know mine is an absolute clap and needs some love. So I'm gonna start tearing down on this thing. Rear interior may not be big of a deal right now. I think we're gonna focus on the drivetrain because obviously it's all kinked and torn up. So let's remove the strut bar and get it to where we can start removing the wiring harness to free this thing up to come outwards. As you can see here, there's really not much room left. Even the AC pipe is completely burst right there. So we've been plugging away at this. We've got the strut tower bar off, which was entirely kinked, and I couldn't even get the bracket off, it was so twisted. Now we've just managed to get the wiring harness off the top of the engine with some really pain in the butt plugs or connectors and connector clips really fighting me the whole time. Now let's pull our intake off, get our rest of our wiring harness off the front. We've got a connector in 20 pieces that's still being held on by this monstrosity of a clip. Yeah. What the heck? You know, it's actually kind of funny. I was just telling Mike 2 days ago that I need to find him some of these caps for his windshield wipers. And look what we just happened to find. So we've got the test pipes disconnected now. We're about to lift the rear side of the car so we can pull the rest of the exhaust off and get to where we can pull the engine out. We're almost there. We're just about to crack the power steering loose and let it drain into this pan. Other than that, all we got is our engine mounts here. Can't get it off from the top right here. May just have to use an impact from the bottom. I think that'll be the best way to go about it. But so far, so good. Wiring harness is all off that we can remove at this point. Now we're on to removing stuff on the bottom side. If you look at the drive shaft here, the entire carrier bearing bracket has been pulled to the side and snapped. This is the passenger floorboard that has kinked completely up. This thing has been absolutely mangled under here. You can see the drive shaft that's supposed to be straight. Well, we just left Brad's and we're actually not going to get everything out today. We didn't really plan to. Just wanted to kind of see how everything was and how it was going to come out. Today we're back working on the Z. Right now we're having issues getting it to roll backwards so we can actually get it out of here. So we can actually move it back to pull the engine out. I know the drive shaft's pinched down by the floor pan, so it's getting hung up and it's giving us some problems. While we roll it, we hear metal on metal somewhere. We're actually going to grab another vehicle to use to try to push with this tire in between, push it backwards a couple feet so we can make up a little bit of room here for the cherry picker. I want to show you guys something that I noticed last time that we was here checking this out. If you see here, this is the driver's side. This is an oil line on an NA with an oil pressure sensor. I don't know how well you can see back here. This one has an oil pressure sensor as well. So there's one on both sides. That tells me this is a JDM replacement engine, which was a right-hand drive engine because they had the oil sending unit is on this side instead of this side. So I thought that was kind of cool to find out. Not only that, I just noticed looking at this cam gear, this is a phase 2 cam gear, which is an excellent thing. So currently the chassis is so tweaked together that it's like it's pretty much grabbing the transmission and not allowing this to tilt so we can bring it outwards. So it's a little muff to say the least. We've pulled the upper control arms off, sway bar, tension rods, all 4 subframe mounts. We've got all that loose. You see this transmission, I just managed to kick it out the way. Right there, our drive shaft input shaft is literally an inch from coming out. Not even an inch, it's half an inch. As soon as we can move this back and pop this drive shaft yoke out, we'll be able to get access to slide this purely out the front and not have to worry about this problem. Oh, it's so close. So what we're doing is we're lifting the trans to relieve the tension up there in the front suspension and whatnot. And I'm going to try to lower this and see if it pulls it to you. So now we've got access to the top or back side, which was mashed against the firewall. Managed to pull the idle air control valve connectors off, and now we're onto the heater core hoses, and I think we're going to be able to snake it out. So we had our power steering banjo hose right here that was kinked, and it was actually keeping it from coming out. That was the problem we were having, why it was coming out so crooked.
Moved around and broke loose.
Sorry for all the bad lighting at those last couple clips. My light died of all times. But this is day 2 of working on this, and we finally got the motor pulled. I feel like an idiot. Not like just because I know I can do it in such an amount of a time, but the fact it's taken us so much more, and we have to remove everything to get this out of the car. Instead of pulling it up and out, we have to go down and straight out, not up. It's been a crap show, but I guess it's a learning experience. Don't buy a Reg Z if you're gonna strip it down. It's just, not if it's seriously wrecked. You're gonna be in for a headache, and you're really just not gonna enjoy your time. Well, you guys, it's another day that we're going back to Brad's, and we're gonna start working on that Crash Z and start pulling all the parts off of it we need. Today, our goal, door, hatch, honestly everything that we can, because the main goal today is to get it to where we can put it on the trailer so we can take it to scrap tomorrow. Well, you guys, we've made it. If this is mine, I've really been wondering where the heck I'd put this thing. So that's really gonna make me feel better if this is mine. I didn't even see that till I just now walked in, and I've really been bashing my head against the wall back at the house trying to find this stinking light to charge. Yep, I know it's mine. This is broken exactly the same. That's awesome. Now we've got a rechargeable light back. What I'm thinking first and foremost we're gonna do, first priority, we're gonna try getting this door off. You can see the door's pretty solid. Everything's pretty clean on it, other than where this fender has kind of damaged it. But it's got a good mirror, so that's a plus for us because it's the same paint code. Try to remove this bolt right here. Remove the fender liner bolts. Try to pop this off to where we can bend it upward, to where we can bend it up and out of the way. If that's the case, just like our last video, our priority is going to be to get down here to remove that wiring harness so we can pull it out the door. It's definitely a mess. I want this glove box. I want all associated trims in this material, because this is the exact same as my Slicktop. Really sucks because I really need a driver. My passenger's perfect, but the driver one perished in this wreck, so that sucks. We also need to manage to get these seats out. Let's clean all this junk out. Now we've got all this out, and we've got access to our 2 connectors, which would be those 2 white ones right there. We're going to unplug them and unmount them, and then we're going to pull our harness through right there. So this didn't exactly come off how I wanted it to. However, it is coming off. We'll just bend it up and out the way. Good fender. I just know it's going to be a tight fit since it's a wreck. Oh, nope, we got it. Sweet. Don't pull too hard, guys. You don't want to damage your wiring. Now let's pull these off, hinges, and pull the door off. Now we got the door off. So far we've kind of taken quite a bit of parts off of this thing. This is what we've accumulated so far. Nearly all the rear interior. Trying to get as many front cloth trims as possible, including these rear panels, center console armrest, and the seats. Absolutely. These seats are really nice, other than all the dirt and grime. I think they'll clean up great. They'll just need new seat sliders. As you can see, the seat is cocked sideways here. So let's just finish out this side. We'll work our way to the back, take care of the hatch. Since I have never personally been in a wreck myself, I have never known, but they literally just take trash from everywhere on the scene and throw it in your car. Try to just sweep it up and dump it in floorboard. I sold this to Brad about a year and a half ago, and now I got it back. It's weird how things work out, I guess. Well, you guys, as of right now, we're starting to give up on our hopes for the seats. It's just literally way too smashed in. Unless there's a possibility when he gets back, so we use this air hammer, maybe we can knock it out. As I just went to remove this back panel, it's usually like adhered to the back because it has the foam noise canceling, like cloth and all that. But all of this sound deadening literally is broken off because the chassis kinked itself right here and just snapped all of that off. Ooh, I just noticed this has the T-top wind deflectors. I definitely need those for my 2+2. Now that we're onto the back portion of the car, what I'm going to do is remove those 2 bolts on each side here so I can pop this trim out. And at the same time, I'm going to remove everything needed for these little quarter glass trims so that we can remove these hatch struts. Now to do that, we got to get access to this side over here that happens to be the crunch side. Let's see if it works out. Oh. Hey, sweet, we got a clean trim here. That's something we really need. Oh, that's so relieving to find one of them. Well, we had to evict a resident here. Apparently, we've had a home chilling over the fuel pump control unit. You really just can't ever catch a break with mice in these things, and it drives me crazy. Oh, there we go. Oh no, it bent. Snip. And snip. Now our wiring harness is chopped. Here's our 2 12mm nuts for each hinge. Let's remove those, and then we should be able to hit these studs with a hammer, pop it loose from the seam sealer, and lift it off. I think we are all good to go. Pop your rubber grommets out, and I think now we're all good to go. So while I was just removing this brake light module, I happened to have an idea. Why don't we just go ahead and pull all the brakes and center panel out now? There we go. That little plastic clip, I've never seen that there before. Only when I noticed it wasn't coming out when I was pulling it did I realize that it had one. And well, the more you know, I guess. Now the tail lights are very gross. They are held in here by some adhesive that is very vile, and it will ruin your clothes. It'll ruin anything that you are wearing. So be very careful when you mess with it. You just seen all that nasty stretch. That is the adhesive all on the back of these taillights. Yep, so far so good. Let's leave our jack all the way down. Before we pull it all the way off, we need to remove these side markers because the wiring harness is actually holding it on. You know, I must say, I've never been a fan of like clear signals and lights. I think this set's gonna look really good on RZ. Oh, what the heck, the bumper's already here. So now that our entire rear side is all finished, I think it's time for us to move back up here to the passenger side, and let's see what we can do about removing the ECU, the TCU. We got rain starting to come in. We just moved like all of our parts over here. At least the interior ones are ones that could be hurt, electronics, etc., etc. Just pulled our board out, and what is that? That is a nest. I'm so sick of playing in mouse nests. Let's pull all this gunk out. Let's see if we can get this unmounted. I've never seen a remanufactured ECU, so that's honestly kind of cool to see. Now here's our TCU. Put it right with our ECU. Not only are we getting absolutely smacked with some rain, I just screwed myself on complete accident. Just seen a wasp flying out here, and looked like he was wanting to come in here, so I waited and I kicked him and smashed him. Well, let's just say I didn't know there was a nest in here, and my leg got. I had to pull my sock off because I'm not sure if the stinger is stuck in here. Well, let's just say here's the nest. And I'm not gonna get too close for you guys. Well, when you're working with a wrecked car, expect you to get poked by some glass. We just went ahead, pulled the cluster surround out. Got the hood, the pod surrounds. You got the climate pods as well. Man, the more I sit here and look at these seats, the more I'm bummed that I can't get them. We're really about done in the grand scheme of things. I want to grab the fuel pump out of here at some point. Let's see if I can remove this dash vent without breaking it. This side's already broken, so we're not going to be able to save that one, but we're going to try to do what we can to save this. What I like to do is pry here on the end, and all of these thick spots, because usually that's where the clips are located. Oh, no way. Is that a joke? Now that we're down to just the big, kind of bulky, heavy things, or serious things, let's go ahead and remove this fuel pump. All you got here is your 3 connections, and you have 4 screws holding the cover on. I like to pop the grommet through. That way it's a little bit easier to manage. Now, let's just chop each of these fuel lines and remove 6 8mm nuts, or remove our 6 8mm bolts, and let's pull it out. Usually you gotta bend this bracket up out the way, and you'll have no issues pulling it straight up. And now the pump's out. Let's let it drain a little bit. Let's set it somewhere safe. Let's shut this door. Go ahead and grab all of our miscellaneous screws that we've found, which these are kind of like the specialty screws. The gold ones are for your pod housings. Save all those. I think we're actually going to get out of here today. We've got pretty much everything ready to finish tomorrow. Let's get to cleaning up all of our tools, grab a bunch of our parts, transport to the car, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. It's time to put someone to use today. Truck hasn't been used in a couple months. We're actually going to go back over to Brad's today, get to finishing up on this Z. Chevy is as Chevy does. Fires up every time. Don't mind my displacement on demand tick. Well, our pressure's a little low. We got about 18 pounds in the front, so we're airing it a little bit up before we go. Since I'm not so smart and I decided to drink some coffee before we came over here, we're actually going to load up everything that's out and off, take it to the house, take a bathroom break, and we'll be back. Garage door's locked. He's not getting back with me. He's probably busy right now. Well, since it's mowing day and we just got back to unload some parts, let's do a quick little flex that, to me, it's very heartwarming, but a lot of people can't relate to it. I'm sorry if you can. That would be 3 running and driving C's. So heartwarming, I know. this is definitely a lot harder to get in here than the hatch was. Holy crap. Our first plan of attack today, let's go ahead and pull this ignition out so we can have a full lock set from this car. What we got here is a chisel with a flathead and hammer. So if we have to, we can knock a slit in it and use a flathead to pull it out. Or we've got our drill bits that step up 3 different sizes, and we'll just drill the head off and remove the whole thing. He just manhandled the windshield into the back. Holy crap. Things are so awkward to move. Now we've got full rain over there. Pull your turn signal connector out of the way, and then you have these 2 non-headed like bolt studs. All of these metal shavings later, and will it come off? Uh-oh. The ignition's off. So, what I've learned from this process, use a chisel and a hammer and a flathead. Don't use a drill. You'll be sitting here for 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, this was horrible. Never again. Now that our ignition is out, we're about to check to make sure that this thing is not ruined from us drilling in so far with our drill. This right here is a representation of how tight these are in. They're not even in tight. They're just in there to secure it. So you can literally just spin the threads out. This is the questionable one. Ooh, it spins without binding. Well, you guys, we just had a small partial victory. Been sitting here grinding up my knuckles in some glass, but the seat moves. We've got 3 of 4 bolts out, or at least we have 1 bolt out, 2 nuts. Now all we're down to is the 1 bolt tucked under there. Need to figure out a way to beat the crap out of the car to push it back. If I can do that, this should come out no problem. Well, you guys, we just had a big win that I really can't get over yet. We managed to get the passenger seat out. That was something I was really struggling with, but luckily our hands are still intact and we have the seat. So we tried to run straight wire with our jump pack. We hooked a piece of wire to our hop, and I hooked our ground to the steering column. Seat didn't move at all, so that stinks. But what we did, I keep forgetting that this is a wrecked car, so everything's not going to be used. We took the male connector, stripped the power and ground. We're going to plug it in, hook up both of the terminals to it, and hope that works. Well, that actually worked, but it didn't work. Unfortunately, only the top portion of the seat moved back and forth. The bottom side is still planted. That means we gotta struggle, bust our knuckles, and get it the rest of the way out. Well, you guys, here we are probably 2 hours later. Seat is still in the car. I wouldn't be pulling the camera out for no reason. Check it out, guys. Seat is fully out. I feel so much better now. We've only gotten a couple casualties in the way. Or on the way, I should say. I've actually decided, let's go ahead and remove the carpet while we're here. See how much of this that we can reuse. I really imagine we can reuse it. We'll just get a good cleaning out of it. This is pretty clean carpet for what it is and for what's happened. Carpet's out. Biggest dub of the day, along with the seats. That's it, we're done. So we're gonna text Brad and let him know that we're pretty much wrapped up, and see if he wants to do this tomorrow or today. Other than the engine, starter, everything here, not the transmission, but I believe we've stripped everything that we possibly can off this Z, with the exception of the rear front subframes, because that's what we want to keep. But we're probably going to do that after we get it on the trailer to help with the ease of loading this thing. Can't forget the taillights as well. Those are also ours. And we're all loaded up. Now let's make our beautiful drive home and drink some water. I am so thirsty. Actually, you guys, that's going to be the end of the video. There's really nothing that special about removing 2 front subframes, so we're just going to call it there. We're supposed to go back next week because he has to work today, so we're going to hustle everything out Saturday and Sunday. But good news, 2 new videos on the way. We've got all of our parts here in from Z1 for what we recommend to do for a 120K timing kit. And more importantly, we've got our last piece to our body kit. So you guys stay ready, stay tuned. We're gonna start putting those on and bringing our 4-seater together to my Dream Z. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe down below, and stay tuned for our next video. We'll catch you then. Peace.